What's going on, everybody? Hope you had a happy holiday. Looking forward to the new year. 2019 is going to be huge. A little birdie told me that you guys are considering pulling the trigger on a Jeep SRT. Now, there's a handful of things that are going to be SRT specific, and then there's some other stuff that's just good practice to get into when considering buying a pre-owned vehicle. So I'm just going to touch on a few things that apply to all vehicles before we get into the SRT specific stuff that you want to look out for. When it comes time to purchase a brand new to you vehicle, some of the things that you're going to want to look out for first and foremost is check that Carfax. Check the history, how many owners it's had, where it's been, has it been in the state, is it from a rust state, such as the East Coast, somewhere out there. Luckily, where we are in Colorado, we don't really have to worry about rust. They don't use road salt, they use mag chloride, and we don't really get the rusting issues that a lot of other states get. So you can find vehicles with higher mileage without rust, which is a huge plus. The first thing that I look for when I'm inspecting a car or a vehicle or anything to purchase for myself is how it looks when I walk up to it. And what I mean by that is there anything that sticks out to you? Personally, I look at body lines, the line spacing and the gap in between like the doors and the fender and the hood, the tailgate and the quarter panels. And the reason why that's the first thing that I look at, because even if you've checked the Carfax and there's nothing in the Carfax, there's no history on the vehicle as far as accidents, it's one owner, clean, stuff like that, people can take certain steps to avoid things appearing on the Carfax or the vehicle history report. The only time that something like that is going to be on that report is if it goes through insurance. This is the scenario. You're out, whatever, you get into an accident, and you don't feel like having that stuff pop up on the history report when it comes time to sell the car. So what do? You pay for it out of pocket. When you pay for a repair out of pocket, it's not going to pop up on the report, nothing's going to show up on it, and 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be done right, which means you're going to be able to tell, you're going to be able to see in the body lines, spacing, stuff like that, and it's just going to be a huge red flag letting you know that there may have been an accident in the past. Another thing you can check for is underneath the vehicle. If you crawl underneath the vehicle or, poke your head under there and you're just looking underneath it, you can look along the frame rails to see if there's any body damage, to see if the frame's been repaired. It'll be pretty obvious. It's not that easy to cover. And then not only that, you can check your pinch welds. And what checking your pinch welds will tell you is if somebody who has a jack at home and doesn't know what they're doing, will wind up happening is when they go to lift the vehicle, it'll dent the pinch welds and it'll make like a little V, or you can see where the jack is has been lifting up on the vehicle. And in my experience, especially with like teenagers or kids who don't know what they're doing, they just throw the jack under there and they jack it up wherever they want. That's another really good indication that the vehicle wasn't taken care of and wasn't maintained properly. Moving on from body damage, speaking of maintenance, we're going to take a peek under the hood. Now, dealers, used car dealers, new car dealers, doesn't matter. Dealers are really good at dressing an engine up to make it look nice and shiny, nice and greasy. You guys know what I'm talking about if you're familiar with Armor All or any of those shine products. Every time, go to any dealership and look underneath the hood of one of those cars, I guarantee you it's going to be dripping with Armor All. So one of the ways to determine whether or not your vehicle has been maintained and serviced properly is the engine oil dipstick. And what I mean by the oil dipstick is it's the same color from the top to the bottom, and on a vehicle that has not been maintained and hasn't had regular oil changes, the bottom of the dipstick is going to be tarnished. It's going to be brown in comparison to the rest of the dipstick, and that is another really good indication on what type of maintenance has been done on your vehicle or on the vehicle you're thinking about buying. So now that we've talked about some of the things to look out for when considering purchasing a new to you vehicle, we're going to talk about some of the things that are SRT specific, even more specific than that, specific to the Jeep. Now, I mentioned in some previous videos that the wheels and the Brembos, the clear coat is peeling on them. Now, Jeep will honor the warranty and they will replace it, but it takes a lot of work and talking and begging and pleading and demanding and whatever it's gonna take. Basically, you have to make them want to make you go away. That's how they're gonna replace that stuff for you. For me personally, I negotiated it in the price. I didn't notice these things peeling when I purchased the vehicle, but I'm such an asshole when it comes to making a car deal that I talked them down like $4 or $5 grand anyways. So it came out in the wash. They probably knew that it was doing that and chose not to do anything. So we've got the wheels and the Brembos peeling. It's not a huge deal. If it's the vehicle that you plan on having for the rest of your life, then yes, it is a big deal. Do what you can about it. I'm not going to because I'm planning on getting a Trackhawk. So with that being said, let's move on to the interior of the vehicle, where I'm going to show you guys one of the other issues that a lot of Jeep owners have. One of the other issues in the Jeep SRT is the carbon fiber trim. It'll start separating right here. But as you can see on mine, with 62K, it's still stuck. Now this is where being a mechanic comes in handy. If that thing starts to separate even a little bit, you can bet your ass I'm gonna get the highest commercial grade epoxy 2-part, 3-part, I don't care. It's not gonna come off. I don't care. It's gonna separate, and I'm gonna put the strongest shit I can find, and then that's just gonna be that. So, now one more issue that these things have, I don't have it personally, but it's the bottom of the steering wheel. I know East Coast Jeep SRT, I know Ron had this issue, but basically where this seam is on the metallic part of the steering wheel, that seam, the metallic trim will start peeling, and it actually will get to the point where it's sharp and it'll cut your fingers if you're not careful. I don't know, guys. If it were me and I could go back and do it all over again, would I? Absolutely. Hands down, no questions asked. I absolutely love this Jeep SRT. If you guys are even like slightly considering getting one, I recommend it. And not only do I recommend it, but I recommend a guy, link in the description, that'll hook you up with the best price. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. If you enjoy content like this, please smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button, hit that bell notification too, leave your comments in the section below, and we're gonna be talking about the Trackhawk in the next video. Do I think it's worth it? Does it justify the price jump? Hit the subscribe button, stay tuned to find out. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later.